I've been on a health kick lately with the wedding and then just realizing it was time to start eating better in general, which is why I love Washington Red Raspberries. They are clean, simple, and a seriously delicious way to add more nutrition to your day, whether you're trying to clean up your snacks or build better meals. They're American grown, picked at peak ripeness, and frozen within hours to lock in nutrients like fiber, antioxidants, and vitamin C. And they have no added sugar, just fruit as nature intended. Instead of my typical breakfast sandwich, I've been doing a red raspberry smoothie, and it's been an excellent source of fiber because, fun fact, raspberries are one of the highest fiber berries. Want to discover new ways to use American frozen red raspberries and get more details on where you can grab a bag of these delicious berries? Go to redraz.org. That's redrazz.org. You'll find recipes, health tips, retail locations, and everything you need to make frozen Washington red raspberries a regular part of your routine. And don't forget, look for Product of the U.S. on the bag. Some of my favorite products made with Washington red raspberries are Costco Kirkland Signature 3-Berry Blend, True Fruit Hyper Chilled Chocolate Covered Raspberries, milk or dark, or Smucker's Raspberry Jam, peanut butter and raspberry Uncrustables. Have you ever rooted for a central couple in a horror movie? Then you are going to love House of Rain by New York Times bestselling TikTok sensation Harley LaRue. Happy endings and horror can mix after all. It's a gothic sapphic romance meets supernatural suspense, equal parts sinfully spicy and bone chilly. Salem was supposed to be on her honeymoon. Instead, she's trapped at Belfour Manor with Rain, a woman hiding secrets as dark as the house itself. This book gets 4 out of 5 peppers for bringing the heat. If you're a fan of The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager or Verity by Colleen Hoover, this must-read thriller is for you. The book just sucks you in. I swear, I even caught myself looking behind my shoulder once or twice because Harley LaRue builds this tension that just lingers. You can find House of Rain by Harley LaRue wherever books are sold in print and in ebook. The gorgeous deluxe hardcover first printing is only available for a limited time, so grab yours before they are gone.
Hi, I'm Yue Xu.
And I'm Julie Krafchick.
We're active daters turned dating insiders.
Here to dive into everything modern dating and relationships.
Welcome to Dateable. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Brunch Talk, where we answer your burning dating questions.
We are going to dive deep today because we have a topic that is one of our favorites to chat about, all about the difference of having standards versus being picky. And hopefully others have their comments they want to share too. Spotify, there's a whole comment section. We love reading those. So feel free to add your 2 cents whenever it makes sense.
Please comment away.
So being picky is not the flex you think it is.
No, because there's a big difference between having standards and using a checklist to disqualify everyone, which is then being picky. Having standards is about how someone treats you and how you feel around them and what your values are.
Right. And then picky is about the surface level preferences. And when we lead with that energy, it's not high self-worth. It's actually fear disguised as control.
Isn't that crazy that a lot of people say, I'm just so picky? It translates to, I'm too scared of being rejected. I'm too scared of being not chosen. So you can't be discerning without shutting people out before they've even had a chance.
So how do you know which one you're being? Are you being picky or are you just holding yourself to standards?
Very good question. When you are asked a question like, why are you single? And your first go-to answer is, I'm just too picky. It probably means you're being that picky, like fearful, picky, shut people out before they can shut you out.
I think another sign for me is when someone's like, there's no one good out there. Like there's no one good. And okay, yes, there are a lot of bad people, a lot of really shitty people. No one's arguing that. But I think there's also a lot of really great people. And to say that there's no one good, no one that like meets my standards, no one that's good enough to date me, to me, that screams picky.
And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you say there's no one good out there for me and I'm just so picky as slim pickings out there, that's what you're going to get. And because that's the story you believe.
I think it also comes down to like when you hear people describing like the type of person they want to be with. If you're really leading with the superficials, that's when I see this like picky mentality. It's like this checklist of all the qualities I have imagined for myself. And I'm going to go on Amazon and cherry pick that perfect person. And that's just not realistic. And I tend to see, at least from my experience, either when I was in this mode or friends that have been in this mode, is that often we overlook the way someone's treating us because the superficial is there. So like, for instance, like they, are attractive to us. They went to the right like college and have the right pedigree, have the right, occupation, like all the stuff that we kind of deem as, who we want. But then they're like, I can't commit to a relationship, or they're seeing all these other people at the same time. And you're like holding on. To me, that's a sign of like, I'm focused on the wrong things in the ultimate settling paradox.
And people tend to have this idea that they're entitled to their checklist, like I deserve someone X, Y, and Z, but they don't think about how someone should treat them or how a relationship should make them feel. So you often hear people say, well, I worked this hard in my career. I deserve someone who is making this amount of money, who is of this status. But then they don't say in the same breath, like, I deserve someone who treats me as good as I treat them.
We've also heard of people that do not actually they're not at the standard that they hold others to. Like we've heard this a lot from our friends that are matchmakers, that people come to them. They're like, well, I can pay to have the perfect person. So I'm going to give a list of like, I want them to be like physically active and in shape and fit. And then like, they're not at all. And it's like, okay, well, how can you hold someone to a standard that you're not even at? Or like, I want someone with a graduate degree and like you don't have a graduate degree. We see that all the time. And I think to me, that feels like now we're getting picky if we're like having this list of qualities that aren't even ones we possess in the first place.
And that's a telltale sign of someone really scared. When you can come up with all these excuses of why someone is not right because of some superficial trait, then you don't have to explain any further. It's like, well, they don't ride their bike every day, so therefore I'm not interested. Sounds like a very easy reason. Then we're not connecting, or I haven't found a way to really like have a deep connection with this person. We don't talk about it in that way because that's so much harder to explain.
Or I'm scared. Like if I think this has happened before, I can like think about times like in my 20s when I like wasn't really ready, even though I said I was like, okay, this person's actually like giving me enough attention and they are making it clear they want a relationship. And now I'm having an issue that they wear like this like ugly belt. And like, are they a good partner for me because of the way they dress? And I think like you could argue that, I mean, there's many reasons, like maybe you go there, maybe you're just not feeling it. But I think there is sometimes a subconscious of like, I'm going to be the one to X out first and be like, I'm going to end this before I get hurt because this actually could be something that's real.
When you come in with a picky mentality, you're always picking at something.
Yeah.
You're always focused on something that's going to give you an out, an excuse to say no. And that's why so many of us can say we are picky, because then we are the one choosing. We are the one leaving. We are the one in power. But what we're saying here is you're actually losing that opportunity for connection because you are just trying so hard to hold on to that power dynamic that you're forgetting the humanness of it all.
And you should be the chooser. We're not saying don't be the chooser, but have that be on the standards of how you're being treated, not being like, I'm not going to choose this person because they have like all these like little like annoyances or quirks that I've like made it my business to find every last one. Because I think the first is like there's this energy of like looking down, like I'm so good, I can pick who I want, I'm the best. And I think the second of like I'm going to choose someone that meets my standards, that's coming from a place of like self-respect. Like I'm not going to be with someone that, you know, cancels at the last minute all the time, or someone that says they outright don't want to be in a committed relationship when I want to be in one. That to me, it's like I understand my value and what I need and want, and I'm not going to stand for behavior that doesn't align. And to me, those are two very, very different things.
Yeah, one comes from a place of entitlement. I am standing on my soapbox and I'm entitled to this list of things, and nobody wants to feel that energy. Like, have you ever had a friend who tried to introduce you to someone, right? They're like, Julie, I have someone for you. I want you to meet them. And then you're like, oh, tell me more about them. Why are they single? And they go, oh, because they're really picky.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel as the person who your friend is trying to set you up with? Like, how does that make you feel? It makes me feel less than. It makes me feel inferior. It makes me feel like I have to compete for this person to like me back. I don't want to be in that energy at all. It's an energy of deficit.
It makes me feel like they're going to try to find any and every flaw about me.
Yes.
And that to me is not a fun date. If you can feel an energy of someone that's just looking for every potential red flag or quirk about you or ick about you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like they already don't like you. They've already said no to you, and it's your job to try to convince them otherwise.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think the picky energy to me is one of the biggest turnoffs. So I think like, if, again, hard love here, but like if you've had a friend say you're too picky, or you describe yourself, maybe even outright describe yourself as picky, I think it's worth taking a second to really analyze where this is coming from, instead of just being like, no, my friend doesn't get it or whatever. Like, again, you don't have to agree with your friend, you don't have to agree with us, but maybe just take a beat to be like, is this coming from somewhere? And like, can I change the way I'm like projecting what I'm looking for?
Yeah. What is your purpose in telling people that and putting that out there? What is your goal? Is your goal to try to tell everyone out there how amazing you are and that you just haven't found someone that you really click with? That's different than being picky, right? Like, what is the why behind why you would use picky and then say that as a reason? Don't use the word picky.
I like that too, because I can say, like, because I think sometimes people think like I'm being, having standards, being selective when I say I'm being picky. And again, we're saying have standards. If someone's not treating you well, don't keep going out with them. Or if you feel like you don't intellectually respect someone or, enjoy their company, then like that person isn't your person, and that's okay. I think you can change the way you say it to a friend too. Like, I'm looking for someone amazing, someone that, shows up when they say they're going to, and they're consistent, and I can laugh with them and talk about everything. Like, how much different is that energy than, I'm just like really picky, and there's just like no one good out there. Like, who would you rather set your friend up with?
Seriously. I think we all come from a place of, if we were to be brutally honest, I would say, if I were to be set up by a friend now, I would say, I only recently found a way to communicate my needs. And I am looking for someone who is willing to receive that. Like, that is brutally honest. And that's not like, oh, for all these years, nobody lived up to what I was looking for. No, I actually had to raise my bar and communicate so that now I'm finally at a place to do so.
I think that's the other key of like when people say they're picky, it's basically taking the onus off of yourself. Instead of what you were just saying, Yue, that's like, actually, I'm going to take accountability that I wasn't necessarily showing up in a way that was conducive for a relationship for many years. And I needed to change something about myself instead of there's no one good out there. I think when someone says there's no one good out there, to me, that's just like a huge sign they are not ready.
No. And again, like not taking that responsibility, like you're saying, and being like, the world is out to get me. I'm the only good one,
Right.
the last good one
There's
standing.
0 people on the apps of like, how many people are, there's going to be like millions of people on these apps. There's no one good on there? No one?
There's no one, 0. I'm the only one left. So yeah, I'm just going to date myself.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of absurd when you actually think about it.
It is. It is. And I also think that if you've been saying you're picky for many years, it's not your fault because it is what the media has told us to say. All those articles, you should be pickier, you should be more discerning, and all those movies and TV shows that are like, no, you should really be picky about your partner. I get it's the message that's been told to us, but now it's backfiring because we're not really speaking in terms of standards. Now we're just making lists.
Right. And no one's saying, again, you should have standards. You
Please.
should have discernment. Like, again, yeah, like there's no way. I think what the media was trying to say, I mean, some media probably was like more superficial characteristics and qualities. But I think there was a narrative too of like, don't be taken advantage, especially for women, by bad partners. And that is so true. Like, no, we are 100% for that. That to me is standards, discernment, realizing when someone is not a good partner, get the F out. No one is saying to stick around for that. But being picky is just having this like unrelenting standards and checklist mentality that tends to actually almost focus on the wrong things and overlook like the actual red flags.
Yep. A great example that just came to mind is a friend of mine was in a previous relationship where her partner said, I don't want to be with you. I don't want to be in a committed relationship with you. And she was still fighting for this relationship. And he finally was like, I don't want to do this. I've been telling you. So they break up. And then her friend tries to set her up with this other person who seemed great. Like, obviously, we don't know anything about this person, but was describing them. And my friend was like, oh, show me a picture. And sees in the picture, she's like, oh, I don't like that he likes cats because he had some pictures with cats. Now,
is she allergic to cats?
No, not allergic. She was just like, red flag. There are cats in his photo. No, thank you. I'm very picky about men with cats. So it's like, wait, you spent months chasing after a man who was like, I'm not interested in having a relationship with you. I don't want to commit to you. But a man who has a photo that happens to have a cat in it, you're like, nope, not interested in meeting this person at all.
Yeah, that is a really good dichotomy of how extreme it is. And I feel like I can think of like 100 examples like that. It's just too common. Like, that's why we're like, we need to have this separation because yeah, like this happens all the time, and being picky never translates to actually getting what you want in your love life.
And in that example, it shows the domino effect of when you get hurt. And I think that's, again, is being picky is hiding that fear of rejection. Yeah. She was in a place where she lost control. She lost her power because she was chasing after someone who didn't want to be with her. So now she's overcorrecting and saying, oh, I'm going to be in the driver's seat and I'm going to say no to all these people because that's the only way to gain back my power.
I want to dive into this even more, but before we do, let's take a quick break to hear from our partners. You guys know I'm all about clean eating, but I just learned about the hidden microplastics in my home. That's why I've made the switch to Blueland across all the cleaning products around my house. Their products meet the highest standard of clean. They're effective, yet gentle on my family and the planet. Blueland was also named an EPA Safer Choice Partner of the Year. From cleaning sprays and toilet bowl cleaner to dishwasher and laundry detergent tablets, Blueland's formulas are 100% microplastic free, made with with certified clean ingredients free from chlorine, bleach, and harsh chemicals that are safe to use around my household. I love not having to choose between the safe option and what actually gets my house clean. The dishwasher and laundry tablets are now staples in our home. Blueland has a special offer for our listeners. Right now, get 15% off your first order by going to blueland.com/dateable. You won't want to miss this. blueland.com/dateable for 15% off. That's blueland.com/dateable to get 15% off. Cooler days call for layers that last, and Quince is my go-to for quality essentials that feel cozy, look refined, and won't blow your budget. Think a Mongolian cashmere sweater for only $50, premium denim that fits like a dream, and luxe outerwear you'll wear year after year. I'm eyeing their wool coats. They look designer level but cost a fraction of the price, and the quality just as good, if not better, because Quince partners directly with top-tier ethical factories and cuts out the middleman. I recently went on quite the Quince haul, getting a tan cashmere sweater and silk skirt I plan on wearing to Thanksgiving. Find your fall staples at Quince. Go to quince.com/dateable for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/dateable to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dateable. I think about too in our book, actually, How to Be Dateable, for anyone that hasn't picked it up yet. We follow these like 5 daters that are kind of hybrids of a lot of the behaviors we've seen. So they're not based on like a specific person, but there's a little getting pulled in from different people.
Yeah.
And we have one dater. She's the maverick personality. They're based off of our archetypes. And she is the queen of being picky on the data reviews. She's going on a data review. She's, making sure they check all the boxes. And if they don't, out. We actually have it based on something that did happen, but it was a 5-minute date she would go on. She would go on for 5 minutes, assess this person, and then bounce if like they didn't have the qualities she was looking for. And what we had as kind of the realization that we've also seen with people is that by doing that, you're actually at the date focused so much on them that you don't actually have to be vulnerable and share about yourself, because you're just looking for like, does this person meet my criteria, instead of actually revealing yourself and taking the risk that like someone might not actually like you. And that's scary. But it also is what actually gets to a relationship, just by having this like picky, I'm coming in with my clipboard, I'm going to check all the boxes. That doesn't get anywhere, because people also feel that energy, and no one likes being on a date feeling like if I answer one question wrong, I'm out the door.
Yes, exactly. Here's a question for you. Feel free to take a break to think about this question. Do you think everybody goes through their picky era? Like, is that part of everybody's dating journey?
I don't. I think there's some people that are more inherently picky than others. So I think there's that. I also think it depends when you dated. I think in the world that we're in currently, with so many options and this feeling like this check like list mentality, I think we're like trying to get people out of this vibe right now. I mean, that's clearly a big catalyst for our book too, is like, this isn't working. But we've kind of all gone there because like, a lot of times that's what we have to judge. Like on apps, for instance, like we don't know the people. Yeah. So we're just looking at this criteria and filtering people in and out based on it. So we've kind of gotten into this mode of like using apps again, like Amazon, to like find that perfect person and whittle down all the options. So I do think if you're dating in the time right this minute, maybe you've been, I don't know, more like predisposition to it, I guess. Like it's more out there for you, and certain personalities probably get real sucked into it versus others that are maybe less of a maximizer type personality can maybe counter it better. Or people that have done the work and realize like, I mean, I'm someone that's like that. I had a list of, 100 things at one point, and eventually I just got rid of it, so it could happen.
How do we get here? How do we get to a place where I see my friends swipe and they just have this sour look on their face? Like every time they open the apps, like, ew, ew, ew.
Yeah.
They go to an event, same thing in person. It's like, ew, ew, ew. And if you read any Reddit thread about any dating event or dating service or dating app, people talk about the people on the apps like the produce section at Whole Foods. They're
That's
literally
rotting.
they're literally like, it was so bad today. I mean, it was
I
like
know.
everybody was rot. Everything was rotten. Everything was, everything was so terrible, overpriced. Ew. Why? How did we get here? Because when apps first launched, and when I first started dating, I thought everyone was amazing. Like I was like, there's so many great options out there.
Same.
I
I
don't
was
know
like,
who to
cool, I
pick.
get to go on a date this week and
Yeah,
next week. And
with fun people.
now it's like finding the flaw. I do think ick culture did not help. And I think social media and TikTok contributed to that a lot of like these, like, again, like having standards, but standards equals being picky. There's a lot of that stuff.
And just being so judgy.
Judgy.
Right? God.
I really think part of the problem with apps, that's the problem, is there's like a vicious cycle that people think that they're in like they're not honest about, I don't know, it's like hard to, I actually saw this on this love coaching Facebook group that I'm part of. One of the people was asking like, okay, so I have a client and they're just like not realistic about the people that they're looking for. Like they're like looking for people that are like 10 years younger than them, that are like super fit, and like they're just not. And how do I say nicely, like, hey, like maybe you're not like what you're looking for, but also people that come to me tend to like have insecurities. So I don't want to say that. And it's really tough. But I do think there's like this sense of entitlement or like elevation of thyself, and then you like look down on everyone else, and it's like a cycle. And then like the people that like you think you're too good for, they look down at the people that they think are too good for them. And it's just like a cycle that no one is finding anyone, where we could just be like, look, this person looks like a legit person, let me just go get to know them.
Why? It's so toxic.
I actually
where we've
think
ended up.
it's self-protection at the core. I think the world we're in right now, people do not want to like look bad and look imperfect. And I think like dating is such a lens to that. And I mean, I think it's been like this forever. It's not like just nowadays, but maybe now it's so much more public. But I feel like there's this piece of like, I don't want to show my cards. Like, I don't want to like look like I'm the person that can't get the dates. So I'm just going to like, get rid of everyone else.
Oh, yeah.
Ego.
It's insecurity, ego, it's pride.
Yeah.
It's so much of that. And how public your life is now is almost like your partner is a direct reflection of what you're worth and your value, which is unfortunate. And we kind of
yeah.
and so stupid. Yes, because we're just trying to find someone for us, not for other people to judge us. But yeah, everything's just so public now. But I really hate the sour face looking at other humans being picky and judgy world that we live in, because that's all I see now. And it's not even with people that we are, have potential with romantic relationships, but just like in general, the way we are so judgy of everybody.
Yeah. I mean, maybe some of it's like political climates too. There's a lot of judginess in general. Internet culture. I don't know. We should like really do more deep dive on this, because I agree that the like negativity is just like spiral. But I really believe when we've talked to people about this, like if you're in the state that everyone looks bad to you on an app, get off the apps. Like you might as well not be there. Because like if you're in that state that you're literally finding faults with every person you encounter, get off the apps, or try, before you get off the apps, try to find at least one good thing about them each time. I think that's a good training exercise to like start to reframe the beauty of people instead of just seeing the negativity. So maybe do that actually even before getting off the apps.
Yeah. I like that. Maybe I'll tell that to my friend, because she's definitely in a state of like, ew, no, 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 no. But I know that she's rejecting 90% of them are probably like really good people.
The crazy part is she's doing this just by their photo, right? Like she's not.
Just by the
That's the
photo.
craziness. Is like, I don't know. Not like, okay, I'm not. People might come for me on this. I'm not like excusing hetero men here or like, giving them grace, but like guys aren't good at taking photos. Like guys aren't
True.
like in a group being like, oh, let's take pics the way that women are. So I'm not saying like settle for someone terrible, but like if they don't have the best photos, maybe just like see if they're good enough and then meet in person, because a lot of dudes just aren't taking like professional pics and, posing with their friends. It's just not a thing.
Okay, I'm actually glad we're going off on this tangent because I do have to say something in defense of men. It's like men can't win in the
No.
photo category because if your photos are casual, they're not good, like bad angles, sunglasses, can't see your face. But if you take intentional photos for dating apps, girls are like,
then you're
ew,
lame.
he's posing for
Yep.
photos.
Yeah,
He got
really
a professional photographer to do Tinder photos. Ew, like you literally cannot win. So the only photos that we've seen work are the ones of you at a wedding, like interacting with guests, you're dressed nice, and it's like, it's a candid photo.
Right.
Like those are the only photos that work on dating apps.
And it's just like, I don't know. I feel like my fiance or my husband, when this airs, at least on our podcast, live fiance still, and my other ex that I met on a dating app, their profiles were like, okay. Like they weren't bad, but they weren't like, oh my God, I met my person by looking at their profile. Like I was like, they seem like good enough and I'm going to meet them in person. And then in person, they were great. And like usually the guys that have like the best profiles like aren't that great in person. It's the ones that like don't necessarily know what to do because they're not taking like photos all the time and, crafting the perfect profile. Like they're living their lives, or maybe they're relationship people that don't even date that much. Those are the people you want to find. So maybe it's actually a green flag if their pictures aren't like amazing.
I would go out and say for everybody who is like ew, ew, ew to these photos, take like 3 of your exes and reverse engineer them on a dating app. I bet you probably wouldn't have swiped on them.
You said
like,
that you wouldn't have. I remember you saying like your ex before, like you said you would not have swiped on him.
And my current.
Yeah.
Partner, like there's no way there's no way. It's just not, they're not good at making dating profiles, which thank God.
Right. And we've talked about this a lot, so definitely check out other episodes too. It's like you just need to understand the limitations of an app.
Yeah.
And I think too, like I remember Evan Mark Katz we've had on our podcast said this, like if you go to like a mall or like a public space, like most people aren't who you want to date. And that's okay. Like you don't need to date them all. You just need to find like a couple people in that group that are suitable.
Please don't date them all.
Yeah. But like, why are our expectations so high too that like every last person will be the person?
Oh my gosh. It's slim pickings at a mall. If you're like complaining about the apps, you're like, I'm going to go to a mall to find someone. Your chances are really low. Let's be honest here. Okay. Do not go to the mall. But it's very much back to the standards versus pickiness. Judging someone by their photo does not speak to their standards or your standards at all. A photo cannot assault you. A photo cannot treat you in a certain way. Right. A photo just gives you information on how this person looks and maybe some of their vibe. But the standards really come from your conversation, how you interact with each other, the communication with each other.
Their follow through.
There you go. Yeah. So maybe the photo, just think of as an introduction to possibly assessing whether the standards are aligned or not.
Okay. Well, hopefully this helped people if they're either in that mentality or if they're like made it out the other end. I'm not in that picky mindset. Then bravo. Good job. We are proud of you. And again, it's like keep those standards up. Everyone is telling you to maintain standards and have discernment.
And we are begging you to make that P word a dirty word. Let's not use it ever again. It's just not a good word.
It's so bad. And if you have a friend that says it, maybe give them this
Slap them.
episode or send them this episode. The less violent approach here.
Choose violence.
But it's a good, I don't know. I feel like the way we talk about dating tends to dictate so much of our dating lives. So just
Absolutely.
hearing yourself, the people around you, making sure that your environments are more positive, all that will really make a difference in your dating life.
Yes,
Okay.
100%. Cool. Great discussion. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another good topic for y'all.
Bye.